Let's go ahead and take a look at the coxal bone, or the os coxa. These two bones make up a large portion of the pelvis, and they would articulate like this. The only bone that is missing, of course, is the sacrum, which would connect the two in the back and posteriorly near the top of the screen. The coxal bone itself is made up of three fetal elements that fuse together into a single bone. We have this green tape sort of separating these three elements. So the large paddle-like structure is the ilium. The other two structures sort of make these C-shape that connect, and the anterior bone, the bone that is anterior most, is the pubis, with the posterior bone being the ischium. Let's go through the landmarks of the ilium, and we'll start with the iliac fossa. The iliac fossa, like any fossa, is a shallow depression, and it's located right here. One of the ways to orient this is it's opposite the acetabulum, the large joint cavity that articulates with the head of the femur. So this is the iliac fossa. The greater sciatic notch is this very large notch right here. And between those two, we have the arcuate line. This is a line right here that serves as an articulation point for a muscle. If we flip this more to the sort of posterior side, we have all of our gluteal lines. There is an anterior gluteal line, an inferior gluteal line, and a posterior gluteal line. And of course, these serve as articulation points for the gluteal muscles, the butt muscles, if you will. The ilium has a couple of spines that you're asked to identify. A spine is just sort of a little spine of bone that sticks out. We have the anterior superior iliac spine right here, and the anterior inferior iliac spine. So both of these are pointing anteriorly. Here's your pubis, so this would be anterior side, and we'd simply have these two spines. Again, we have the anterior superior iliac spine and the anterior inferior iliac spine. The only other structure on your list is the articular surface. This is this really rough patch that is posterior that articulates with the sacrum. So the sacrum articulates right here with the ilium. All right, let's look at the ischium. So one of the ways that I differentiate between the ischium and the pubis is the ischium has this very large knot, which is the ischial tuberosity. The pubis is relatively flat, and it comes to a nice little point. So that is one easy way to differentiate. So this here represents the ischium. It has a lesser sciatic notch right here. If this is the greater notch, the lesser is right underneath it. So the lesser sciatic notch. We do have the ischial tuberosity, this large bulbous portion of the ischium. The ischial spine is right here. It is separating. Remember, a spine is a little divot of bone that sticks out. It's going to separate the greater and the lesser sciatic notch. So there is your spine. And then lastly, the ramus. The ramus is a flat portion of a bone, and the ischial ramus is down here, and it connects with the inferior pubic ramus, which is right here. Okay, so that is the ischium. The pubis rather. We start with the pubic tubercle. It is right here. This is the anterior most, and the pubic tubercle is really close to a joint that is the pubic symphysis. Remember, this is an amphiarthrotic joint that connects the two pubic bones. If I get the other pubic bone, they would connect right here. They would create a joint called the pubic symphysis, and that again, that is an amphiarthrotic joint. So the pubic symphysis. The superior ramus is this flat portion, and then of course the inferior ramus is this portion down here. The only other structure on the list is the pectineal line, and that is a line that runs right here in this direction from the tubercle posteriorly. So this is the pectineal line, and again it serves as a site for muscle attachment. So this bone takes a little bit of time. You have to get comfortable. The other thing that you have to be able to do is differentiate between left and right. And for any bone, the easiest way to differentiate between left and right is to simply know two directions. We know that the acetabulum has to be lateral. It has to be lateral most because it articulates with the head of the femur. So if this acetabulum is lateral, and I know the pubic bone, the pubis is anterior, then I can determine whether this is left and right. This is actually a right coxa because of that. Because my pubic bone is anterior, my acetabulum is lateral, that would make this a right coxa. It would join with the left in order to create the majority of the pelvis. Fair enough.